Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the spiciest moments in South African politics this week. The Africa Mayibuye Movement's president, Floyd Shivambu, has set the political pot to boil with comments that are bound to rattle not only the ANC, but also two of the loudest voices in the opposition space, the MK Party and the EFF. Yes, you heard that right. The man is calling out his former comrades and saying they simply don't have what it takes to rescue South Africa from the deepening crisis we're in. Now, let's unpack this carefully, because Shivambu is not some small-time activist shouting on a street corner. He has serious political pedigree, known for his years in the economic freedom fighters before breaking away to form the Africa Mayibuye Movement. So when he stands in front of cameras and says, the MK Party is not an alternative, and neither is the EFF, people sit up, raise their eyebrows, and sharpen their pencils. According to Shivambu, South Africa is stuck in a cycle of unemployment, poverty, inequality, and, let's not forget, rampant corruption. And in his view, neither Jacob Zuma's MK Party nor Julius Malema's EFF is ready to solve any of it. He says they are both heavy on slogans and big rallies, but light on actual workable plans. In his words, they lack collective and individual capacity. Translation: they can make noise, but don't expect them to run a country. Let's be honest for a second. Many South Africans are frustrated. They've lived through load shedding, job losses, collapsing municipalities, and a government that often seems more interested in internal faction fights than delivering water or fixing potholes. So naturally, they look to the opposition for answers. And for years, the EFF has positioned itself as the voice of the angry youth, while the MK Party has leaned heavily on Jacob Zuma's charisma, especially in KwaZulu-Natal. But Shivambu says this is all smoke without fire. These parties, in his view, can rally the crowd, but when it comes time to draft policy or manage the treasury, they are simply not built for it. Now, this is where things get interesting. Shivambu isn't only criticizing them, he's positioning himself and his movement as the adults in the room. He argues that South Africa needs a clear development model, strong policy direction, and leaders who can demonstrate technical competence. And he's very blunt about it: the struggles of our people cannot be reduced to political slogans. That's a direct shot at both Malema's fiery speeches and Zuma's populist appeal. He's basically saying, stop dancing on stages and start presenting serious solutions. But let's pause here. The Africa Mayibuye movement is still relatively unknown. It doesn't yet have the kind of national footprint that the ANC, EFF, or MK Party enjoy. Analysts are already saying Shivambu's comments are part of a bigger strategy, carving out space for his party in the crowded opposition landscape. Remember, in South Africa's politics, it's not just about having the right policies. It's also about branding, charisma, and the ability to capture headlines. And in this case, Shivambu has managed to do just that. It's also worth noting the irony. Shivambu knows the EFF inside and out. He was once its number 2. He helped build it. So when he says it's not an alternative, he's speaking from insider knowledge. That adds weight to his words, but it also makes the whole thing a bit awkward. It's like a chef walking out of a restaurant, starting his own eatery, and then telling the customers, by the way, the food I used to cook for you was never that good. Now, if we take a step back, Shivambu is tapping into a long-running debate in South African politics: is populism enough to transform a country, or do we need something far more technical and disciplined? We've seen this debate before. The ANC itself was once accused of being a liberation movement that struggled to transition into an efficient governing party. And decades later, people still argue whether it ever managed to make that transition. Shivambu is essentially warning that the MK Party and the EFF are repeating the same mistake, only louder. Here's another layer. Both MK and EFF thrive on personality cults. The MK party is basically Jacob Zuma's political comeback vehicle. Without him, it's doubtful it would exist in its current form. The EFF, on the other hand, lives and breathes Julius Malema. These are powerful figures with unmatched ability to rally crowds, but Shivambu is suggesting that South Africa cannot afford to rely on personalities anymore. We need competence, discipline, and a sustainable plan. Otherwise, we risk another wasted decade. And let's face it, South Africans know the cost of wasted decades. We've seen service delivery protests flare up across townships, seen schools without toilets, hospitals without medicine, and municipalities drowning in corruption scandals. People are running out of patience. And Shivambu is gambling that his voice, and his party, can step into that vacuum. But here comes the humor in all this. In South Africa, political parties love to claim they're the real alternative. The DA says it every election cycle. The EFF shouts it with red berets flying. The MK party says it with Zuma songs and Zulu pride. Now Shivambu is adding his name to that list, essentially telling voters, forget those guys. They all talk. I'm the one with the blueprint. It's like a crowded taxi rank where everyone is shouting that their taxi is the one going to town. But the truth is, the passengers, the voters, are tired of waiting for a taxi that actually moves. Will the Africa Mayibuye movement gain ground? That's the million-rand question. For now, it lacks the visibility, but politics moves fast. Remember how quickly the MK party shot up in KwaZulu-Natal? Or how the EFF went from nothing to a national powerhouse in just over a decade? If Shivambu plays his cards right, and if frustration with the ANC, EFF, and MK party continues to grow, his movement could sneak into the national conversation in a serious way. At the same time, one has to ask, can Shivambu himself escape the shadow of his past? He left the EFF under dramatic circumstances, and critics say his new party may just be another small splinter that fades away. He's making bold claims, but South Africans have heard bold claims before. What they want now are results. Still, one thing is for sure, with comments like these, Shivambu has forced a debate that will not go away. Is South Africa ready to move beyond slogans and into competence-driven politics? Or are we still hooked on the drama and theatre of big personalities? The answer to that question will shape the country's future for decades. So, what do you think? Are Shivambu's criticisms fair, or is he just trying to stay relevant after leaving the EFF? Can the Africa Mayibuye movement realistically become a serious player, or will it be swallowed by the giants? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, we love hearing your views. And before you go, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more in-depth political commentary, and share this video with your friends and family. South Africa's politics never sleeps, and neither do we. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time.